Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an ambitious, focused learner looking to secure a fully funded master's or PhD, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down one of the most prestigious academic opportunities in the world, studying in Japan through the highly coveted MEXT University track. We're going to decode the exact proven strategies you need to turn what feels like a really complex application into an achievable reality. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's map out our roadmap for today. We'll cover the MEXT University track, the unbeatable scholarship benefits, eligibility criteria, required documents, the application process, and finally, some smart application strategies.
Starting right off with Section 1, the MEXT University track.
So, you might be wondering, what is the absolute best route to study in Japan? You've probably heard of the MEXT Scholarship. It's offered by Japan's Ministry of Education, and it's incredibly famous. But here's the thing. Most students completely miss out on the most strategic pathway to actually get it. They just default to applying through their local embassies, completely unaware that a much more direct route even exists.
And that is a huge missed opportunity, because the university track is essentially a hidden cheat code. See, the traditional embassy track has these brutally strict quotas. We're talking maybe 50 to 100 seats for an entire country, and it involves grueling written exams that a lot of people just flat out fail. But the university track? There are no strict country limits and absolutely no written exams. The whole thing relies almost entirely on your ability to find a Japanese professor who agrees to supervise your research. That's the secret.
Moving on to Section 2, Unbeatable Scholarship Benefits.
Now, before we get into the heavy lifting of how you actually apply, let's talk about why this grueling process is 100% worth your time. 148,000 Japanese yen. That is your baseline monthly stipend as a MEXT scholar. To put that into perspective, depending on your city and specific program, that converts to roughly 250,000 to 270,000 Pakistani rupees every single month, going straight into your pocket, giving you incredible financial freedom while you study.
But honestly, that stipend is just the tip of the iceberg. Literally every major expense is covered here. You get fully funded tuition, meaning zero admission fees. They cover your round-trip airfare at the beginning and the end of your degree. You get free university residence, full health insurance coverage, and, remarkably, no IELTS is required to apply. Plus, if you have a family, they allow family visa sponsorship so you can bring your spouse and children along. You are even legally permitted to work part-time for up to 28 hours a week. It is without a doubt one of the most generous scholarship packages on the planet.
Which brings us to Section 3, Eligibility and Requirements.
So, what exactly do you need to bring to the table to qualify for all these perks? Well, first, you do need to be from a country that maintains diplomatic relations with Japan. Age-wise, you've got to be under 35 years old, and that goes for both master's and PhD applicants. Academically, you'll need a 16-year bachelor's degree to go for your master's, or an additional 2-year master's if you're aiming for a PhD. Your required CGPA should sit at least a 2.3 on the Japanese 3.0 scale, which translates to right around a 3.0 on our standard 4.0 scale. And as for English, like we mentioned, IELTS isn't mandatory. A medium of instruction certificate from your previous university works perfectly fine.
All right, Section 4, Essential Application Documents.
Let's talk about the exact paperwork you need to start gathering right now. You want all of these documents properly named and sitting in a neat PDF folder on your computer well before you even think about emailing a university. You're going to need a Europass standard CV, which is really just a clean, widely accepted European resume format, a valid passport, and your degrees and transcripts. It's highly recommended you get those attested by your Foreign Affairs Ministry, by the way. You also need 2 recommendation letters dated within the last year, a standard medical fitness certificate that you can easily find online templates for, and finally, your medium of instruction certificate.
Now, listen up if you are a master's student because you might not have a ton of deep research experience yet. Here is a massive pro tip. When you first email a professor, do not attach a hastily written research proposal that you just built from scratch. Don't do it. Secure their interest first using your strong CV and your academic record. Once they actually agree to talk to you, politely ask for their specific proposal template. A lot of times, they'll happily guide you and accommodate your early mistakes, making sure you format your proposal exactly the way they like to see it.
Section 5, the application process. Now that your digital paperwork is locked and loaded, let's look at the actual chronological journey. This timeline takes about 5 to 6 months of dedicated, consistent effort, and applications usually open up around September.
Remember, about 90% of public universities in Japan participate in this track. First, you'll shortlist your universities. Then, you'll reach out to professors. Next, you secure their acceptance letter. After that, you formally apply on the university's portal, which might include a quick 10 to 15-minute interview. And finally, you just wait for the official MEXT approval and visa processing.
Let's zoom in on step 3 for a second, because getting that acceptance letter is absolutely your biggest hurdle in this entire process. An acceptance letter is basically a formal agreement from a Japanese professor stating, yes, I am willing to supervise this student's research. Once you manage to secure that single document, you have instantly locked in 50 to 70% of your admission chances. That professor essentially becomes your internal advocate at the university.
So how do you actually find these professors to get that letter? Well, you kind of need to become an academic detective, or honestly a very polite internet stalker. Start by scouring university department pages for authentic email addresses. You'll know they're real because they always end in .ac.jp. If their email isn't listed there, take the professor's name, plug it into Google Scholar to check out their recent articles. You can also search Japan's Research Map database or track down their specific lab website. Your goal here is to align your research interests absolutely perfectly with whatever they are currently working on.
Finally, Section 6. Smart Application Strategies.
Let's wrap up with some critical best practices to make sure your meticulously crafted application stays out of the rejection pile. First off, absolutely do create a brand new professional Gmail account just for this process. You really don't want a professor's life-changing reply getting buried under spam or newsletter subscriptions. Do make sure you're sending your emails during Japan's actual working hours. But here's the biggest red flag. Don't mass email 2 professors in the exact same university department at the same time. Trust me, they talk to each other, and doing this is a guaranteed way to get ignored by both of them. Also, keep everything highly professional. Do not share your personal financial problems. Stick strictly to the academics.
And that brings us to the elephant in the room, AI. The source material is crystal clear on this modern dilemma. Yes, tools like ChatGPT are incredibly helpful. Use them to brainstorm ideas against a professor's previous papers or to draft up some polite email templates. But you must maintain your authenticity. Never ever just blind copy-paste your final research proposal. Not only do you have to pass strict plagiarism checks, but you are going to have to defend your methodology live during that 15-minute interview. If you don't actually understand the concepts your AI suggested, they'll know, and you will be rejected on the spot.
So, there you have it. We've broken down the unbeatable financial benefits, the exact eligibility requirements, and the hidden cheat code that is the university track. The opportunity is sitting right there, and the best part is there are no strict country quotas standing in your way. So the only question left for you is, what groundbreaking research will you propose to secure your ticket to Japan? Grab your laptop, start shortlisting those universities, and take your very first step today.